just one outlet.
But if you really run them separately, you can put each one on the timer and control them separately.
Right.
That's where you don't want to. Usually you don't want to put them in one.
Yeah, it's great, except if you have 36 white.
Yeah. If you have them
If
all
it's
white,
all white, then whatever, yeah. Only unless you just want to run, one meanwhile first, second meanwhile, like a cheap way of dusk to dawn.
And this is roughly the way how it works. So you see it dimming. There's that shut off where you can't really get it super low unless you really play with it. And then even then you just
That's the buck.
this is run off of all committee buck pump. There's no real control, so you're also limited as to how much light and your controller balancing all the lights in your tank on, which is what Nick was talking about before. And yeah, they're just very finicky once you get to the pots. These are a little bit better. The ones you're going to be getting for like your volume control on your radio, but for the most part, the cheaper, smaller ones they're not as good as controlling lights. Organization. That's another more important thing. You can build your fixture and start throwing LEDs everywhere and then just wiring them together, but it's keeping them organized between the wiring and everything. I mean, Smolk went and made this crazy diagram. He made a few of them actually. They're kind of complicated, but him building the light was a lot easier. If you ever just go change something out, it's that much easier. So it also helps on setting them. If you're just getting a plate, you have to go pre-drill everything, marking everything down, getting some kind of cut sheet for it, where you know where you're drilling and everything else. It just makes it a lot easier if you're drilling holes for 30 or 40 LEDs.
You should use the drill press. It's much easier.
Yeah, drill presses. It starts coming into fancier tools that you're going to be buying.
The drill press is definitely more necessary because if you use a regular drill, you could do it, but it's a lot more work, as well as if you're unsteady and like let's say it vibrates a little bit, the hole might be a little bit too big, and then your screw will be very loose.
As you see, I didn't even use the drill press. There's just a press for a Dremel, and it works well. And it's not expensive. It's like $50 or something. So if you have Dremel for fragging, you can buy this thing for it. And it's good.
And this was any other do-it-yourself project, so cleanliness helps a lot. Yeah, the main important things is diagramming out so everything out. So before you're soldering and screwing with your LEDs and adding heat where you're not supposed to, and also you have everything preset. You dry wire everything. You can get little banana clips and hook up your LEDs, see if they all light up, and you can put it up someplace and see if it's working. Before finishing your fixture. And just research everything. That's the most important thing. We're just covering certain things. Jake Adams' he'll give you even more information about drivers and different things and what's been going on 10 years ago and how it changed now. And it gives you a better understanding of everything. So six months down the line, when new drivers, new everything, because everything's changing every few months, it'll be that much easier to put together your fixture. The stuff that we're telling you now is going to be obsolete in about 6 months. So we new stuff. I think that's about it.
When you do the wiring for the LEDs, I suggest using, like if you're doing all the whites together, all the blues together, I suggest using different color for all white and all blue, so when they're off, you can't really tell which one's a white and blue, so you can look at the wire and color.
And you can use from 16 gauge wire up to like 22. Because bigger wire, it's not so easy to bend.
What is that?
That's 20, I think. I think like that's 20. Yes, that's 20. No, that's 22. It's the that's the 2.
I use 22 gauge as well.
Yeah, 22 inches to 22 gauges is the best one. Because it's easy to bend.
Anything else we can cover with?
So I use a solid strand. I think it's easy to work with, in my opinion. But mine would be beholden, right?
What was that?
Solid strand versus stranded.
Oh yeah, solid strand.
I use solid.
It's easier to go and get soldered to they're not flaking out on you all over the place.
Yeah, and you don't have to tin them.
Yeah.
You don't have to tin them. I use the stranded one, but you have to tin them.
Yeah, pre-tinning all your wires, just putting
wires.
the solder on the
Putting
tips
some solder
is
on
super
there
helpful on
before you actually solder together. That's what pre-tinning is.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a preference on power supplies, like using like a
I prefer using the Mimos, mostly because with the pots, I can't control it from here. I need to actually manually. And I have a total of 109 LEDs. This can only handle up to 6 LEDs per pot. So I have to change each and every single one of them individually. Whereas this one, I can just, since all of them connected to Apex, type it once, done.
How much is the Apex unit?
500.
That's the expensive part.
For the dimmable one.
How much are those manuals?
These? Just $20. But then,
And the minimum is like 27. Yeah, but yeah, Apex does a lot more. It's like,
Apex is
it's a great controller.
It has, you know, the 8 ounces control, pH controller, temperature controller, you know, everything.
If you have a Reef Keeper Live, you buy like an additional kind of PCM one or something like that.
one small feature.
Yeah, just one small
And that's
feature.
gonna dim your
It's
lights.
like any Aqua controller or Reef Keeper light, you know, it's just one feature of it.
Any kind of aquarium controller can control your lights and dim them and do anything you want with them. You're just gonna go make sure that it's
And if you have a
And
problem
Apex
with
is
it,
a
you
top shelf
you call them,
control.
they right there. You tell them your password, you go into the system, they'll fix it right there, online for you. If you have a problem with your system, they good.
as far as power supply.
What determines fin size on the
That is what most people use.
I think the 1-inch fin is actually sufficient. Just I still suggest using a fan though.
But because you have about 109.
Yeah, I actually tried both the 3-inch fin as well as the 1-inch fin. It's a very minimal difference in the temperature, except you know the 3-inch fin's a lot more heavier, 15 pounds each, versus the 1-inch fin's 7 pounds for double the size.
Is it smaller than that? You try smaller or not?
No,
I
didn't try
use smaller. I use the computer heat sinks and they work well too. But you need more fans.
Yeah, the 1 inch,
On
so
your
inch and a half is
fixture, how
great
many
for
fans
both
do you
blades.
have in that fixture?
Since I have 109 LEDs, I have 7.
I have 24 LEDs and I have 3
It's these fans.
Oh, the larger ones. Okay.
Yes, and you can come up here, listen to it.
Those are
There's no
120s,
sound.
right?
Huh?
120s?
120 millimeter. Yeah.
And what size tank you have?
Huh?
What size tank you have? That one?
144.
It's a lot of LEDs.
120 LEDs for 125.
I use for Solana
Basically
just
one
1 inch cube. I use 24.
One
It's
LED
better
per
than
gallon.
gallon.
Yeah, the
I
thing
use
is,
I think like 2
yeah, it sounds like a lot of LEDs per gallon or per square inch and some of that, but it's really, in the long run, these are gonna last you 4 or 5 years, easy, between your.
What about bigger tanks though? What about a bigger tank, maybe like a 200, 220?
Yeah, it's,
It's
I
gonna be a
would
lot
say-
of work.
but it's gonna run you roughly the same between electric costs, bulbs, and your fixtures, you know? You're gonna be spending for let's say like a 220, you're gonna need 3 metal halides, that's already 1,500.
Yeah, indeed.
And LEDs, plus, you know, bulbs for 5-6 years. It's $100 a pop, 300 a year, you know, like, no, 600 a year. So it adds up, plus the electric costs. And an LED fixture that we'll put onto that, it would be about, you know, $3 grand around there, 2.5. So, you know, it's roughly the same long run.
Also,
It's just
keep
a
it-
huge investment in the beginning, that's the only thing.
The average savings is
And
about,
you see the curls, how they look under LEDs.
about
They
a
look
third
awesome.
of the usage.
That's
Yeah, I know.
the main
Well,
thing.
Electric bill
that
is
was-
crazy on Mellow
That's
House.
the
The
mind blowing.
blues look great on also on their LEDs,
Not
but
that
it's, you know,
Believe me, I got
Keep in mind the amount of LEDs I'm using. I'm growing SPS anywhere from the top to the sand bed
I'm
and
gonna
plants
do
as well.
I'm gonna do
No
LEDs
problem.
one day.
If you want like LPS only or
Because I
soft
have-
feeds
I have
or even
two-
fish only,
250.
you're obviously going to use less
on my
LED.
36.
Only other thing
22 inch.
That's
I
the
actually,
bad.
I actually put my fixture, the LED itself, a little more than 1 foot away from the surface of the wall. So therefore it gets even spread. I have absolutely no stop lighting, and I also have optics on every single LED.
What is your
60.
60?
My LED system
Take out the chiller.
I wanted something not too wide, but not too
Right,
wide.
right, got you.
in about 2 years.
somebody was asking about power supplies and stuff. I like these things just because the plug is really small. You can get these things 24, 12 volt, AC to DC, And the plug's small, so if you have a strip thing, you don't have to put in a big wall work into your thing and take up two spots constantly. Other people like these because they're easier to get. I have to order these online. These I can just go to Radio Shack and pick one up, whatever, so on whatever voltage I need, whatever milliamp I need, and all that stuff. Well, these come a little more standard. You know, and then, yeah, like the mean wells come with just regular plug into the wall, and it automatically converts in, you know, all your electricity. So it's more preference on what you want, and what, you know, what's available, how long you want to wait. It ends up being that way. So. Is there anything else? I don't think so.
Meanwhile, could power up to 13 LEDs, but they generally recommend minimum 8 per Meanwhile, because if you do any less, it might or might not turn on because it doesn't sense the LED light.
So it's a minimum.
There is a minimum.
Yeah, but no,
That's not
the whole
true.
purpose of min was that
You can